Today we're going to be building some lava geysers. How are you today? Art Jeremiah here, and I'm back with another terrain building video. If you're new here and you want to see crafting content related to games such as Warhammer and D&D, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And for those of you returning, and some of you have been anxiously awaiting the dungeon, I'm still here, still working on the dungeon. Got a little busy with commissions. So, one of my recent commissions here, a set of lava spouts, for lack of better words. Lava geysers is what I was explained. So, we're going to get started on that. Let's see. So, first thing I do is start with these little spare pieces of foam that I had sitting around. And they're carved up a little bit. Make sure you're wearing a mask for this type of thing if you're following along. I'm using a kitchen torch, and I start melting the foam. I form a little crater in the top, and then I just slightly melt all the sides. And it hardens up the build a lot too, so it helps protect it. And it's going to give that natural melted look to the geysers. I didn't really have a plan. I know I wanted to have spouts of lava shooting out. And if you've seen my lava pools video, you'll see that I used hot glue to make lava. And I wanted to do the same thing in here, so it'll be able to match those lava pools well. Where I wanted spouts of lava shooting out of these geysers, I decided to use some bamboo skewers at different heights. So it's going to be an armature for the hot glue lava. And then I lay down a piece of big parchment paper. That way the hot glue won't stick to it, and I can do nice big drips all over the geysers. Totally not the best talker. I apologize for all the new people here. But I think a lot of people can learn a lot, get some good ideas. So, like I said, don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. So basically, I just start forming the hot glue into lava. I'm just building it up, little bits at a time. I'm working on all 6 at once. That way, I don't have to sit there and wait for the glue to dry. Once I get done with the last of the 6, I can go back to the first and start building on that one again. It doesn't take that long. This step right here that I'm working on, this first little bit of lava. For those of you who have seen my lava pools video, I do a couple just like that. The rest are going to have a little bit of spouts. And right here you can see that I'm starting to build that up. And I wasn't sure how I was going to do that. I wanted this one to be like splashing. So it was kind of hard to get that at first. It just melts down the sides of the little geysers. Okay, now you'll see that it's starting to melt and drip down. I wanted a splash, so I had to take a minute. I got my fingers wet, and I started forming it up on this one. I didn't do that on all of them, but where it was like drooping down, I didn't want that. So, my solution was to work on it upside down. You can see I'm just building up water, letting it get nice and drippy, not water. I'm just building up the hot glue, letting it get almost drip down. And then I placed it on the parchment paper just like so. Eventually I propped it up with some toothpicks. That way I can wait for it until it gets solid. And then I start working on the others, and I just started doing those upside down. It wasn't worth trying to build them up from the top down, just because the lava just dripped. So this first little stage, we're going to build them up upside down and then stick some toothpicks on the sides and wait for them to dry. There we go. Now they're nice and dry. You can see that it's like shooting up. We still want we want it to come back down too. We want gravity to be hitting it, so it's splashing down. And I just let the hot glue do its work. And it doesn't take as long as it looks. You can see it's just dripping where it wants. And I let it drip where it wants because I want it to look more natural. And then every time there's like a string like that, I start building on that string so it's thicker. And while I was doing this, I was just imagining lava. A lot of times you see lava and it's like gooping like that. So I really like the hot glue for the lava thing. Okay, so there's a couple I did just like that. And then I had another, and I wanted it to be a little bit different. The goopier one, I wanted it to be like, not just shooting straight up. I want it to be like blasting out, gooping out. So I get some actual wire armature and I just build the hot glue on that. And it worked pretty good. And I got this new Surebonder Hot Glue Gun. So my other one broke. And it's not as good for this kind of thing. The tip is just different. I should have paid attention and got the longer tip. Sometimes it helps to get a different view. So I just kind of like crouched down on my knees at my desk and imagined how the lava I was going to say water. I imagined how the lava was spurting out of this geyser. A geyser. I don't know if that's what they're called. That's what I was commissioned to build. Lava geysers. So I did that. You can see when I got closer to done, it looks pretty good the way it is. I mean, kind of. If you can imagine it painted. And I just keep adding some wires and different spouts until I feel like it's looking good. And with this, you don't want to paint, like with lava, if you want it to be nice and bright and in like really intense orange, you don't want to paint the lava sections black. So with this, I'm using some white house paint, and I just paint all the hot glue sections. Those are the sections that's going to be lava. I guess the whole point is some colors lay over, okay, so color lays over different colors differently. That doesn't make much sense. Let's go more basic than that. So yellow and orange are going to appear more vibrant when painted over white than they are going to be painted over like black or gray. So we're undercoating this 2 different colors. The first one is white. You can use a mix of white paint and PVA glue or white paint and Mod Podge. That's just fine. I'm using the house paint because I have it handy and it really does build up a nice thick layer. So, and you'll see that it's like paint plus primer. So it works pretty good. Nice and thick, and the white really covers better on this than it does, say, like the apple barrel white. The apple barrel white's crappy and it always crackles on me. So I can paint this nice and thick, although the crackle can be good on certain spots. When that's dry, I start to lay down the color. And this is kind of a different step than what we'd do normally. So this is how I've been doing all of my lava terrain. I paint it white where the lava is going to be. Then I add yellow, and I just slop it on. That way the yellow is nice and vibrant. And here I'm just mixing some wood glue and black paint. That's a good substitute if you don't have Mod Podge. I know a lot of people like to use Mod Podge, but just use any PVA glue. Not the really lower cheap PVA glue though. I had a problem with that staying sticky. So try not to use that. But like anything better than school glue you could use, or like PVA glue in general. Wood glue is a type of PVA glue, but this Gorilla wood glue hardens nice and it's nice and, I don't want to say nice and hard, but it has a nice hard shell to it when it dries. So a lot of times I use that. So this is black paint and wood glue, and I paint it on all the areas that aren't going to be lava, including the bottom. And it looks like it would take a long time, but it doesn't really. Not unless you're painting a whole bunch. All right, there we go. It's all prepped for the orange. And this is really the fun part. Oh, not the orange. We're not doing the orange yet. I lied. We're not to the fun part yet. First things first, we paint on the gray. And we're just dry brushing some dark gray on all the black areas. You don't have to be too specific. If you go into the yellow a little bit, it doesn't matter. Try not to, but if you do, it's okay. You don't have to get super close to the yellow when you're doing the dry brush. And then, the orange. This part's actually really fun. This is like really satisfying to do. And with the orange, we're not really doing a dry brush. You could do a dry brush, but more of an overbrush, kind of. It's hard to explain what exactly I do. I get the brush wet, I wipe a little bit off, I add it to the places further away from the center where it's hottest. So the coolest places of the lava, I start there, and then I just work my way in, and the brush naturally gets drier as you work your way in. So as the brush gets drier, it turns into more of a dry brush. So the center pieces are going to be more like the middle pieces. The middle of each piece is going to be more dry brushed than the rest. And I go over both the black and the white, and it's going to give a glowy look to it, if that makes sense. So you can see the orange really covers over the yellow good, but over the black, it just gives a hint. And so if you like don't color inside the lines, you can give a glowy look to it without an airbrush or anything like that. Okay, look at that. See, I don't care about going over into the black. You can say that I'm just painting onto the lava, but I'm letting it like go over onto the black. And I'm just kind of scrubbing it in. That way it blends it and makes it look like a glow. Hopefully that makes sense. It's hard to explain. And then like with this little fireball looking shooting up one, whatever that means, this big tall geyser, I want it to be cooler at the top and then white, almost white when it gets to the middle. That way it looks like it's like freshly been shooting out. And it gives it some more of an action pose. And it's not realistic, it's not too realistic, but it sure looks cool. Okay, and there we go. But you can see, this turned out pretty good. Next to that Space Marine, it looks pretty cool. I apologize for my iPad running in the back. Okay, so, and I got another one coming that's similar to this one. It's more lava terrain. So, from here, if you haven't seen the original lava terrain video, it's lava pools. And it's one of those that I regularly sell. But if you want to make your own, I show you how to do that in a video, and that's going to be linked for you on the screen right here.